Well, joining me now live in our Lagos to discuss this development and much more, I have economist Michael Ilo. Good to have you on the breakfast show this morning.
Yeah, thank you for having me, David.
Now, with the figures we have on ground right now, looking at the first quarter of this year, yes, it is commendable to see that the debt level has reduced a little bit, 4.12 trillion naira compared to 4.19 trillion naira that was recorded by the end of the fourth quarter of last year. But still talking about state's revenue generation strategy, do you still think we have a change in the body language of the government and also partnership in terms of public-private engagement to ensure that we have the key sectors of the economy run? Because at the end of the day, it seems we're still applying the same old model to operations, really.
Well, I wouldn't call a change from 4.19 to 4.12.
It's a small margin, but an appreciable effort.
Consequential change. And unless we see the context, you may not really know. Maybe somebody is delaying in payment, or they made some payments, as it were. These are domestic debts being owed to maybe majorly banks and contractors. The truth of the matter is our income generating model, the sharing formula that we're using, is not working. Since the late 70s, when they said our problem is not money but how to spend it, we've had issues because people are not generating income, and at the end of the month everybody sends their accountants to Abuja to go and bring in the loot, so to say. At the end of the day, people get lazy. Now you find states spending as much as 92, 93, 80%, 85% of their income on payment of charges that are recurrent in nature. At the end of the day, they are not generating anything from their economy. They are even lazy in terms of tax collection. Now they are giving those things out to tax consultants, that they say, just bring me the money, look for how you are going to do it. These people ride roughshod on the populace. At the end of the day, just trying to get money for government to spend. The money, they are not getting much. Those tax consultants are taking heavy tolls in terms of what they collect, maybe 10, 15, 20%. These are the issues with our economy. I was thinking through this, and I felt, why can't we have a 7-year plan
agenda,
you know, like,
for development?
Okay, it's not going to be one fell swoop. It's something you are going to do in a staged format. Like, okay, now everybody depends on the federation account. What if we reduce this over the next, to make sure that at the end of 7 years, 50% of what you generate in your state comes to you. The other 50% is paid as tax.
I like the fact that you made mention of the federation, what we get from the federal government, allocations from that regard as well. That seemed to feel the sentiment of making the state or state governors lazy, really. Now, looking at the key sectors of the economy, with the fact that we have state budgets also mimicking the federal government's budget in terms of recurrent and capital expenditure, it's still a ratio that does not support any growth, really, be it infrastructure, be it health, education. It's dead on arrival.
Even the federal government has issues. So until we are ready to have that conversation where we rethink the whole concept of the Nigerian state, what makes us viable? You've seen the reports that only 6 states are actually viable economically. So why do we have 36 states? And some people are already clamoring for more states to be created. What exactly does it mean for us to exist as a nation? In the 60s, Nigerian economy was quite ahead of Taiwan and South Korea. Now they are, multiples ahead of us. What are we doing? We have all the best brains, we have the people, we have the population, we have the youth that we can drive change with. At the end of the day, we are not willing to have that conversation. Now the youth are going into drugs, people are stealing, people are killing for peanuts, as it were. And at the end of the day, nobody is really talking. These are the conversations we need to have if we are going to generate employment. Something started with China. The whole story of China and the fact that maybe they have become the 8th wonder of the world was because they took a strategic decision in terms of creating employment. They look at individual enclaves, maybe communities and states, and say, okay, what can you produce from your state? If you can tell me what you can produce, and you produce, instead of that communist setting of, okay, whatever you produce goes to the federal government. No, you produce, give us a certain percentage, because there's something we are going to be negotiating with. But anything you produce after that minimum figure, you can sell on the exchange and they make money. That's the single most important decision that China made that has transformed their economy. there are states with crude oil, there are states with gold, there are states with bauxite, iron, tin, and whatever. Let's forget, okay, even intellectual property. These are things that are naturally available in the ground. So allow the states to run their resources and pay tax to the federal government. This is what we are doing.
How do you think we're faring right now and revisit the agenda of one state, one product? Really, we have over 15 states that produce coffee, but we are not one of the biggest net exporters of this commodity. We look at other commodities and we ask ourselves the question of, we are naturally blessed, so why do we have this deficient economy?
Well, 55% of the land in Nigeria is arable. That means it can be farmed. In the 60s, before the advent of oil, we were relying on agriculture. We've heard of the granite pyramids in the north. There is cotton, there is palm produce in the east.
Is there not lesson not
These things are still there. The land is still there. Even we can, with fertilizer, we can even have more produce coming from those lands. Why are we not doing them? This cost of oil that we have had over the years, that everybody now believes that, okay, I don't have to do anything.
But states that are not producing oil, why can't we have this agenda, one state, one product, look for your comparative advantage and then milk it as your cash cow as much as possible?
If you actually see something that is working, some people are there. You know, the issue of the contraption, so to say, called Nigeria is the fact that as far as the federal government is unwell, when the head is sick, the whole body feels it.
Mr. Aino, for the lack of time, I would like your thoughts on also looking at how you think insecurity, the current insecurity challenges we have on ground, will heighten our debt levels at state levels especially.
Well, I think there's no debating that, except for the Borno governor that mentioned the fact last week. Nobody in Nigeria has talked about it. The United Nations World Food Organization said famine is coming, and it's because of insecurity. People are not doing their bit on the farms because they are afraid for their lives. So as long as that persists, before you know it, you know, the problem with farming is that you may not see it the same day they leave the farms, but 3 months, 6 months, 9 months down the line, when the harvests are supposed to come in, and you have exhausted the last one, you find out at the end of the day, the farming starts and we start borrowing again.
Thank you very much for your time on the breakfast show this morning, Michael. It's been a pleasure speaking with you, and then we can only hope that state governors now begin to have conversations and agendas set that will really take the economy at state levels out of the current poverty index that we have on ground, and the state of production. It's really not the best picture we have on ground. Thank you very much once again for your time.
We are ready to have that conversation.
Thank you.